It's $65,000, divide by 6% cap rate. That's the offer, period. That's how multifamily works. It's business. Hey, this is Matt Pichet, the Fruitful Investor and your investing coach. And today's video is about how multifamily can be the safest asset class in real estate investing. Now, there's really two reasons for this. Number one is that it's a completely different business than single family. One that's based on fundamentals. So multifamily is really built on income, right? Especially when we get above 6 units and up. How you value a building is strictly based on net income. How much money does the building make? Does it make a lot of money? Well, then the building is worth more. If the same building is getting in less income, less rent, the building is worth less. That's pretty how much cut and dry multifamily real estate is. Now, there's other things that go into value, such as comps, and those things do play a part. How new is the boiler and the roof? Yes, those things do play a part in value, but really, especially once we get above 20 units and those type of buildings, it is strictly based on income. When you have a business, format that's built on that type of fundamental, it's rock solid because it's pretty much foolproof, okay? Especially when we get into the higher buildings. Number two, it's less volatile than single family properties, okay? So in Kitchener-Waterloo and Cambridge right now, what are we seeing, okay? We're definitely in a big boom. Some will say we're in the middle of the boom, even nearing the end of the boom phase of the real estate cycle, which is great for sellers and real estate investors like us. It's a great time right now to be a single family investor. But what always comes after the boom, every single time since the beginning of history? A slump phase followed by a correction phase. So yes, the slump will definitely come. When? We don't know. It's almost impossible to predict when a real estate cycle or a phase in the real estate cycle will end, but what we do know is that it definitely will come. It always does, okay? But multifamily, those phases are much less volatile. It just kind of slowly waves its way through the real estate cycles, and that's because, like right now, there's such a short supply of single family properties. People are buying properties based on emotions, okay? I want that property and I will pay 30 grand over market value just to get it. Yeah, it's pretty stupid logic, but that's how single family is right now, especially in Kitchener-Waterloo. Multifamily, as I said before, it is a business first, which is money. How much money does this property make? How much money will I make? Oh, I'll make this much money? Well, then I'm prepared to offer you this much based on this cap rate. For example, if a building is in a B area and it's a B class building, which is a typical kind of building in Kitchener-Waterloo, okay? That cap rate is usually around 5.5 to 6% cap rate, okay? So when you put an offer on a building and the net income, let's say, is $60,000 on a 15 unit building, for example, okay? It's $65,000, divide by 6% cap rate. That's the offer, period. That's how multifamily works. It's business. Single family, not so much, and that's why it's much more volatile in the real estate cycle, because it's everyday Joes and they're putting their emotions into it, whereas multifamily is very little emotion, business. Now, the last thing I will say is if you do buy a multifamily building, you're definitely gonna wanna buy in a quality area that's growing faster than the provincial and the national averages, as I always say. So yes, we're kind of safe, being safe with our money and risk adverse by investing in multifamily, period. But we also want to buy in a growing area just to have even a more buffer and a more safety net for our money. So we want to be buying in areas, and I always talk about this, and I didn't make this up, better investors than me told me, we want to be investing in areas where the GDP is growing faster than the provincial average, okay? If we have GDP growth, what does that always lead to? Okay, if we have GDP growth, a byproduct of that is job growth. So we want to look for that as well in the area. Now, what happens when we see job growth and GDP growth? Well, population growth. People want to start coming in. What happens when people start coming in? Well, they're going to need a place to live. So what happens to that? Usually 12 to 18 months after this kind of beginning point, well, then we see an increase in real estate demand, an increase in real estate demand for rentals, okay, rental property. So It's kind of a common sense, but not so common. Okay, that's a good saying. Common sense isn't so common, obviously. So we want to be buying an area where the GDP is growing. Why? Because that will lead to job growth, which will lead to population growth, which will lead to an increase in real estate demand. Now, you don't have to be a genius and spot out an area where you see GDP growth, because then you know what's coming forward. Okay, we don't have to be at the beginning. Okay, and I don't even recommend that to be a safe investor. We want to invest in a city that's already growing, or something. Invest in something that's already on its way up. We don't want to necessarily be at the beginning and be a genius. You know, I'm okay with being an okay genius. So start investing at this point. When you see GDP growth, job growth, and population growth, well, then we know what's coming after that for sure. It's increased demand for real estate and real estate prices. Okay, so you want to definitely avoid buying multifamily buildings in tiny little towns. Okay, the Northern Ontario, you know, the Timmins, the Sudbury. You know, a lot of people just want to invest in the St. Catharines or whatever, where the buildings are so cheap. You know, it's $20,000 a unit in a building. Okay, yeah, I get it. It's easy on the wallet, but is it really going to be a good investment where, you know, these aren't really there? People aren't living there. There's no jobs there, or it's a very one-hit town. You know, one-hit pony town, let's say, where it's just manufacturing in that one town. What happens when that business leaves? Well, your building is going to be gone, right? You're going to be dealing with a lot of headaches. The type of tenant profile in those little towns is definitely, most likely, much lower than the type of tenants you're going to find in Kitchener-Waterloo, which tend to be very professional working tenants, if you track the right one, that is, in your building. So that's my tips. Multifamily is built on fundamentals, is much less volatile, very boring in the real estate cycles. It just kind of does its thing. No big dips, no big highs either. It's boring, solid investment, and you really want to buy in a growing area to even make yourself less risky with your money. Okay, that's the video. I hope you learned something. If you did, please click like right below this video. It goes a long way to helping my videos get more views, and don't forget to subscribe so you get more of these awesome tips every single week. See you in the next video.
Put your money in that real estate.
Hey, before you click another video, I want to give you some free stuff. You like free stuff, right? Click on the first link below this video and get my book, Single Family Investing Made Simple, absolutely free. Read as I walk a real-life client through the entire investing process from start to finish and document it for you. Click on the second link and get my other book, The Real Estate Investor's Handbook to Freedom. This book is a must-have for any investor looking to take their business and life to the next level. And last but not least, get my third and best book, 101 Single Family Investing Tips. Inside, you'll find 101 proven and tested investment strategies that I use every single day in my business in order to grow my wealth and manage my portfolio. I hope you take advantage of all the knowledge below, and don't forget to click like and subscribe so we can get more of these awesome tips. See you in the next video.